Now everyone can be in on something, just like everyone can be on something. When I have too much invested in daily life, I like to step back and downsize the caring. After all, exits are my strong point. A hell of a lot is said, even when nothing is said, because there are highlights for each generation. Don't make the mistake about being original, because it's not even close. Yeah, I have my share of tickets behind the wheel, the kind of offense that can't be paid off, for crimes against the game. After a certain point, I have laughed too much. Now I'm extra stingy. LOL are just letters of an idea I feel, or maybe what I want to be doing. You're with me and you know it, in spite of the garbage. Revelation, there is no such thing as clean enough. Escape the attempt, right? Or wrong. I didn't make it, I just exchanged it. People like to know what becomes of a denial. Yeah, I wear it, like a badge of honor. But it ain't no medal if you can tie it around your neck. We learn from our mistakes, except we're not the same people. The new you has a new set of problems. You know me when I'm just warming up, and you know me when I trapdoor. You're with me and you know it. Got a hollow I don't bother filling. We eat like the devil. It has nothing to do with hunger. As promised, but not advertised. I'm not your self-control and you're not my backbone. The capital punishment is the price. Punishment by death is a removal spell. I understand keeping someone alive as a greater form of torture. I live in a reality where victories come with losses, where I cannot destroy anything without destroying a part of myself, where I cannot love without causing some kind of hate. For those of you still interested in what kind of life is waiting when you tear down the wall, it's the kind of life of you versus yourself. Proudly ripping my heart out since 1990. Before then, I may have suspected, but it happened to me regardless, so it didn't matter what I may have thought. I know it's not your fault for being hideous. No surprise that I was happy being ugly for you. I see this place is still full of opposites. Have we gained respect for the voices, even when no one is there? But could you have swore? Right? And at that moment, it gets all serious, while the world you know slips away. It doesn't disappear, it just exists at a distance, usually at arm's length, but just out of reach, or we collide. I held you close, possessed and poor in so many ways, and you always waging war. We live up to the hype, except the hype is a warning. But what you see is not always what you can avoid. I'm right, aren't I? I used to want things, a position of clarity in a life of crimes. I resisted right along with you, never leaving good enough alone. We push. I'd like to say we were just dreaming, but it doesn't matter if we don't know when we wake up. And I'm rolling through endless versions that are never just right, while we have to hide worlds, the burden of any life you share, for better or for worse, right? They didn't care about us then, and I see no reason why that would change. You remember this place was bleeding. It takes something worse to make something bad go away. I was pouring on the righteous, but only after the whore. Then again, that's how some rituals are. Anyway, they had theirs too, don't kid yourself, because that's how they play the game. It's a straight face that pitches the lie. It's sincerity that doesn't understand. There are some things we shouldn't see because we couldn't do anything with it. We try to write them off as lessons, growing pains we could meditate on and progress. Each night comes with its lifetime, but that doesn't make the day innocent. I see now that every move I made brought me closer to far away. I just cared about the wrong things, like trying to get back to a perfect moment. But each time you weren't there, left me to avoid the ghost. They came, you know. They got their information and it wasn't all smiles and handshakes. How do you pretend after that? There are no years for me anymore. When I need to know, I trust what the reflections say. Like facing a highway, standing next to another sometimes. But there's nothing casual about this war. In chemical form, it's still about right and wrong, and the truth about control. Just like you could stop any time. Many truths are stains. What appears washed away is not. I'm not at the cathedral anymore. I'm not open to the mess. It took a long time to pay for my mistakes. A long time to regenerate. It took just as long to walk in your shoes. I never judged you, so I'm not going to start now. Our house has been raided, nearly torn down. I kept what we needed, and to preserve what is greater than us, so this doesn't have to happen again. Everyone we lost, everyone who deserves a second chance, gone too quick. There's no sleep after this, but there is separation. Like I said, reflections of the real thing, a glimpse of the way it could be, if I could just see it through, if I could answer to my given name. But I am not alone, and I cannot shake that kind of excess. The surface area is painful. We're living a life for more than one, and it's been nothing but compromise. I still see your face bubble, holding back the disbelief. It certainly is betrayal, to get spit out into where we started. To break even after a pinnacle, laying low and trying to play it off. Last night you shook the world to its core, made a little more room for beautiful things. But the next day you stood before your peers and they stoned you. The attack itself doesn't hurt. It's the hope we had before, the chance that tomorrow would be different. One day things won't look like everything else, but until then, it's not like things are worthless. So I tried to put a face to my visitors. So many names, so many attempts. And then I am just as trapped. Start putting the pieces back together. Even without instructions, it looks like it did last time. I stopped that. Fast forward to when I realized that I could never prevent it. I was angry for a while, and then I just listened to everyone else. Everyone living on sides for or against each other. The sounds were not divine. Struggle just doesn't come off clean. Fast forward to an unknown point when it all repeated, and then forward to when I realized this may not be the only other time. Is it still primitive to bleed out? When we don't know what is wrong, we stick to something general, something that covers it all. But what did you want from me? In your perfect moment, what were the things I said? Are we strangers compared to it? Are we no better than any of the other names? People who are the same usually think they are different. Sometimes I don't even know why I fought them. It was time I spent when I could have been destroying myself. We keep tearing down until the problem is gone, Of course, now there's room for something worse, but we like to believe it's the same room available for something better. And that's how we convince ourselves to hope again. One more time of something beautiful. One more time of it taken away. What kind of part did we have in it this time? It's become that blame doesn't mean anything. I understand the things you want. I understand why you don't fight. When history repeats itself, it changes you. We want to stop the copy of ourselves. I've been pointing at this place, and I've broken most other options. My skin is ruined for those other faces. I come undone in those kinds of appearances. There's just no escape, like a trip of just flashbacks, like flashbacks of before the trip. Fast forward to now, only hundreds away and totally leveled out, post-war for sure and living surreal, knowing what lies on the other side, but still here on this side, while the coin flips away. When it's light for you, it doesn't mean it's dark for me. I'm glad you made it out. I really am. Even if you don't feel spectacular. At least you have a chance to appreciate the chance, whatever it may bring. As for me, it doesn't matter much, because everything I do is a chase, regardless of who chases who. And what do we do to each other when caught? You certainly have rearranged my face, and I've had my moments. But if you push too much, something breaks, right? And then after it breaks, do you try to repair it? I'm back at our house, finishing the resurrection. The truth changes as much as a person does, but it no longer slows me down. I'm outside for the revival, along with everyone else, this hollow, estranged from one. It was only a matter of time before we could see in the dark, and our body is stronger than it was, and we are smarter than we were.